Hi everyone, this is Dr. Jyoti Bala. I hope you all are doing great. I welcome you all on this channel. In this session, we are going to discuss about few significant points, actually the mistakes which we should avoid during our PhD and also during the initial stages of our PhD. So if you are a young student or a PhD student, especially from bioinformatics, biology, life sciences, then the session will be relevant. I will be sharing my own PhD experiences. So let's start the session. If you are an early PhD student or maybe you are planning to start your PhD journey either in India or abroad, especially in biology sector, life sciences, bio IT and biotech, the process usually takes for completion. Some institute it will take 4 to 5 years and in many places it also takes 6 years. So it's a long duration program where you will feel and face a lot of ups and downs and challenges. So it's better to get the ideas from your seniors, your colleagues, your mentor, what kind of experience they had and what kind of mistakes we should avoid. And in this session, as I mentioned, we will be specifically discussing about biotech, biology sector, because depending on the subject also the challenges could be different. So let's start the session. For new viewers and subscribers, let me very quickly give you an idea about my own PhD and research experience. I did my PhD from one of the renowned university in India, JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University, and the topic on which I have done my PhD was aptamer technology and cancer biology. So that technology itself was very new during that period, which revolves and ask for different expertise in terms of molecular biology, bioinformatics, structure biology, and on top of that, because I was working on cancer biology, so I have to perform a lot of experiment related to cell culture and all these things. And in my laboratory we have to get associated with multiple different projects, so we were working on virology and different projects also. So I have got in the same PhD I got experience related to molecular biology, biotech, bioinformatics, structure biology, cancer biology and virology. So you can see in 5 years I have done experiments and learning in different subject area, although the topic was one but the experience were different. So during that 5 years, what kind of learning experience, what kind of challenges, troubleshooting and mistakes we have done, we will be sharing all these things in this session. The first one and the very common mistake what I have noticed during my own PhD time and when I was mentoring my student, I have noticed people, especially during the initial phases of their PhD, avoid reading scientific literature. And see, trust me, in scientific community, especially in biology, biotech, the scientific reading is very important. You have to design your synopsis, you have to design your grant proposal, there are so many tasks, you have to write your own papers, you have to design your experiment, you have to do troubleshoot, you have to plan for your experiment. So there are multiple tasks which first need to read the articles, get the ideas about your subject, your experiment, your difficulties and challenges, so that you can do the troubleshooting of your problems and experiment. So scientific reading at different stages are very important, whether you have to design your synopsis, because if you are doing your PhD from renowned universities and institute either from India or abroad, that doesn't support spoon feedings. You have to get the ideas about your subject by reading the article, by designing your projects and all these things. So for designing your synopsis, for understanding your experiment, for designing your experiment, if you are facing any troubleshooting, in that case also we should get the ideas about different research experience, what people have done in terms of experiments. So these troubleshooting ideas will click only when we are reading research articles of other scientific group also. And then finally, when you will complete your PhD, you have to compile your thesis also, your research article also. So the very fundamental part will be to understand our subject, and that could be done by reading the research article, maybe review research article and all these things. I know many of the young students, they face difficulty to understand how to read the articles, how to get the understanding about reviews, research article, and different kind of scientific article which are in the platforms in the scientific community. I will be making one separate video for students who are in the beginning stages, how they can start learning and grasping more from the scientific literature, both review and from the article. So trust me, if you are in the early stages of your PhD, or maybe you are planning, make yourself comfortable with scientific readings, because these scientific literatures will give you the ideas about what is happening in the current scientific community, because your curriculum and books are not equipped with the recent ongoings of the science and maybe your research topic and interest area. So reading the research articles and reviews will be very important in designing your synopsis, your thesis writing, your experimentation, understanding your results and data, and finally compilation of your thesis and publication. In continuation, those are the same. What other things I've noticed, that during the initial phases of PhD, especially during the synopsis designing and the defense of synopsis, many students read a decent amount of scientific literature, but as they start their experiments, they start getting the results, or maybe they are during the second or third year or mid phase of their PhD, slowly they stop reading the decent amount of research article, which is really very challenging, which create a lot of troubles also, because you are not keeping yourself updated with what's ongoing in the similar research subject areas and what others are doing. Maybe you end up doing the similar kind of experiments, or maybe you are not progressing well with your PhD and other research groups are publishing the similar result faster than you. So there are a lot of different scenarios which might come if you are not updating yourself with regular scientific readings. The other mistake what I have noticed, especially during synopsis writing, when you are designing any synopsis or research proposal for your PhD program, it is visible that don't put too much of ideas or experiments that you are going to do this, which your program could not afford to complete during that duration. Like suppose your program is for 4 5 years or 6 years, but you have written that you are going to perform this task, that task, and you are not able to complete all these tasks. So always make your synopsis in a way that it is in a broad language also, it is giving the emphasis and significance of your proposals also. Adding some new experiment is still feasible, but if you have already committed that you are going to perform 10 or 15 or 20 experiments, or these are the objective, and during that 4 years if you are not able to complete those tasks, you will be in trouble in the completion of your PhD. So writing a synopsis, the language is very important. So not giving too much objectives during your synopsis time is also a good idea. You can add on a lot of things. If suppose you are getting good result in your second, third, fourth year, you can add on. But in the synopsis you are writing, you are going to complete 100 tasks, and if you are not going to complete all those tasks, you will be in trouble. So better the synopsis writing should be done very carefully, so that it will convey the significance of your projects also, and it should not over convey your objective and experiment that you are going to perform this much of task during this 4 5 year of duration. The other mistake what I've noticed is not maintaining your lab book and data books. It is very important because it is going to help you in overall program and progress of your PhD when you are writing your thesis, your publication also. And if any one of you having some conflict with your PhD or with your program mentors, then it's the official documentation. So if you are having some conflict related to your PhD program, supervisor or publication, authorship related things, these datas and these lab books are very important. It is going to help you a lot in writing efficiently your thesis, your publication, and if you are getting any conflict, then this is unofficial data which can give you a proof that you have done what kind of experiments and what data, and significant amount of this thesis belongs to you. The other mistake which we should avoid is not storing your data. Either it is wet lab data or dry lab data. So suppose if you are working in molecular biology or microbiology, then storing your DNAs, your plasmid, your clones with proper labeling is very important, because you don't know when, at what stages you might be needing those things. Maybe if you are sending your datas and results for publication, sometimes they will ask you for further experiment. So storing and labeling your research datas nicely is very important, and same goes with your dry lab datas also. So storing your wet lab and dry lab datas, having the backups are very important. Either you are storing your clones, or if you are storing your bioinformatics data, make sure that you have duplicate, triplicate enough copies of your datas. The another common mistake what I have noticed is that many young students are just busy in reading and doing and performing the task, but they are not communicating their science. They're not discussing science at scientific platform, whether it's conferences, workshop, maybe at international or national level. See, doing these PhDs is actually, you want to earn bread and butter, you want to do your higher postdocs and then jobs and all these things. So your main purpose is to make networking, make yourself comfortable in conveying the scientific message at the scientific platform. So discussing science with your scientific network will be very important point. So participating in national, international conferences, taking participation in seminar, workshop will be important, because there you will get a decent professional networking, and based on that you will gain career opportunities also. The other mistakes what I have seen is they are not writing, or they are not documented as they are progressing during their PhD. Many students have this habit of writing their thesis and publication in very end of either fourth year or fifth year. See, your thesis, once you have done your synopsis submission, if you know your research plan, you are doing your enough of experiments, then why you are waiting for fourth year or fifth year? Just complete the writing of review of literature, methodology part, or whatever experiments you have done. You may complete the result and data analysis discussion part of that. So instead of delaying everything for the end, it is visible to write 2 page or 3 page daily, as long as you are progressing during this journey. So in my own experience and what I have seen during my PhD time, many of my colleagues, they have this habit of writing their thesis every day, and that has really helped us in the final submission of our research articles and thesis effectively. Now the other mistake what we have noticed is that many students are good in performing the experiment, many people are good in scientific writing, but we have to understand PhD is a overall process which require different kind of skills also, not only your scientific reading, writing, or experimental and analytical skills. It also requires your communication skills, your presentation skills, and all these things. So how you are going to present these things at scientific platform, your job interviews, at conferences, workshop, and during your Viva day are very important. And you might be knowing that these kind of presentations are a bit different, because here you have to deliver your scientific data to the scientific community. So sometime your presentation will be only for 5 minutes, sometime it is for 15 minutes, sometime your final viva could be of 30 minutes. Sometime you have to tell them that what you are going to do, how you are going to do. Sometimes you have to tell the progress of your PhD, and in final stages of Viva, what you have done, what you have got, what is your future prospect. So depending on the platforms and depending on the needs, you have to make yourself comfortable related to your PowerPoint presentation. Like in my lab, my supervisor has this habit. If some professor used to come, we have to be very ready with our presentation. Sometimes the externals ask us to give the presentation in 5-10 minutes for our progress, for the compilation of PhD. But overall, once you are comfortable with your presentations, your data, you have ready-made PPTs with you, you can present these things in the conferences also, in the vivas also, and in long run it will tell how your progress is happening in your PhD, what you are lacking, what you could do. So these presentation skills and the compilation of your PPTs will be important part. And I've seen not everyone keep well with their PPTs during this duration. The other thing is not collaborating with other institutes, other professor, and not asking for help. See, what I have noticed that many students prefer spoon feeding. They are completely relying on supervisor, which is not good part. Suppose you have to perform certain experiment and maybe your instrument is not working, or maybe your institute or university doesn't have that instrument, but you think that experiment is very important for your project. Then why you are wasting your time? You can approach different institute or the professor who are near to your places, or maybe different state also. Ask for collaboration. That approach the supervisor either by yourself professionally or with the help of your supervisor. Approach different scientists and ask that you have to perform certain experiment which you could perform in their lab. Maybe if you want, if you get good result, you can give them authorship also. So performing the experiment in different lab with collaboration, you yourself can approach those supervisor. The other thing, suppose you are performing some cloning related experiment and you doesn't have that skill set to design that whole plasmid. Sometimes designing that whole clone takes years. So it's better you ask the other supervisor either from India or from abroad, from different countries, that okay, this plasmid, you have read their paper and this plasmid could be utilized in your project and you are interested. They are going to deliver these things. In my PhD, I have performed a lot of experiment in NII, AIMS, and I have asked many of the plasmid from different countries like Germany and USA, and they have happily and freely delivered all these plasmid and chemical to us for our project. So not relying completely on supervisor, you yourself take initiative, do the collaboration, ask for help also. If you think your supervisor could help, then you can ask him or her also that they can write on your behalf. As PhD is a long program, there are ups and downs and challenges associated with this phase, and keeping everyone motivated during whole 4-5 years is not practical actually. So there will be some time when you will feel demotivated, you will feel not very enthusiastic. and you will do this procrastinations of your experiments and all these things. But overall it's visible that you work your plan well in advance. Be ready with your experiments, do the troubleshooting, do these things with the discussion with your seniors, mentors and your friends and colleagues from scientific community. So instead of procrastinating, if there is a down phase during your PhD, spend some time with family and friend. Do discuss what kind of troubleshootings, what kind of challenges you are facing with your supervisor. If you have some conflict with your supervisor, still there are dean, directors, other faculty members, your lab mates, you can discuss with them. So if you want, you can take a little bit break from your experiments and programs, take the rest and then regain your energy and start fresh. The another common mistake what we have noticed is that few students are a little bit phobic and shy to discuss the science with their own mentor and supervisor. See, these science mentor and supervisor is having a lot of experience, and you should learn from their experience. You should discuss your science during your tea coffee break or in your lab meeting. Get the idea not about only the science part but their professional experience, how they have got their postdoc, how they have got this position, what has helped in their career path, how you can get the critical feedback from them. So discussing with your supervisor these things is going to help you in designing your experiments, in troubleshooting your experiment. If you want to participate in some international conferences or maybe collaborations, or if you want to do some transition, because these professors are also having some interaction and networking and collaboration which is going to help you. So discussing these things is not only going to help you in your experiment, your publications, your troubleshooting, but also in planning your career path in the ahead time. The other thing what I have noticed is that students who are doing 4, 5, 6 years of PhD are completely doing one task only. Suppose if someone is working in molecular biology or breast cancer or virology or any subject, for 4, 5 years they are reading just one subject area in depth and everything. But don't you think we are in a time when we require a lot of interdisciplinary sciences and skill sets? We have to upskill in different other areas also. So doing online trainings, doing certain diplomas, PG diplomas along with your PhD is also visible. So on weekend you can perform some 10 online trainings and enroll yourself in your PG diplomas program. Try to upskill other skill set also, which is going to help you a lot during your upcoming career path. The other thing is related to your publication. Many students has this myth that you require a lot of publication for getting good postdoc, good job offer. Actually, not the quantity, but the quality is important. So one thing you can do, instead of waiting for 4 5 year and compilation of your project and then you will start your writing, it visible that once you have completed your synopsis and writing of your review of literature for your thesis, try to write in a decent and in a professional way so that you can publish your review of literature in some journal in the form of review article. So initially when you are reading this article, when you are doing the task, try to publish 1, 2 or 3 review article with high impactful journals. And then once your project are progressing, as I mentioned in my earlier slide also, that don't wait for the last moment to write your thesis and articles. The way your progress of your program is happening, the project is going, you have enough of understanding about your proposal. So based on that, you can start writing your thesis and article in advance. like the review part, the abstract part, the methodology part. And if you want, you can watch my video also related to how you can write your research review and research article. I have mentioned everything in details there. So accordingly, during this 4-5 year, plan everything. Like in the start, focus when you are reading, you are writing synopsis, take the advantage of that time and publish a high quality of review of literature. Once you have started your experiment, you are getting good result, how your progress is happening, based on that, start writing your article and get a quality data and get a quality article only. Don't get 10 papers in the predatory journal. It's better to get 1 or 2 decent paper with high impact. So in the end, I wanted to convey a few key points. Whenever you are doing PhD, make the balance between your personal life, social life and professional life. Whenever you are starting your experiments, read a lot of research articles and review articles, choose your research topic, your lab wisely, and writing and documentations of your data, your thesis, your publication in advance is a good idea. When you are performing your experiment, whether wet lab or dry lab, having the data backup is also very important. Communication skills in terms of scientific communication, writing, presenting, everything is important. So make sure that you are giving enough time there also. Present your science at different scientific platforms also, whether it's seminar, conferences at national or international level. Do scientific collaboration if required for your publications and for your research PhD program. And try to plan everything. Don't procrastinate anything. Have a social life also. Everything will be well. A good luck from my side. I hope this session was relevant for you. If you have liked this session, I request you to like and subscribe the channel and do share these information among your scientific endeavor. Thank you so much.